10:30. 10:30. 10:30. All right, guys. The connections are here. Hey, Mario. Welcome back. Whoops. I got it. You're right. We have anybody else? Yeah, you can. Anybody else with?
Stop just for a second.
Okay. 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 All right. Thank you. Mr. Redham, great to see you again.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So happy for you.
Congratulations.
Sure? What's it? Yeah, go ahead.
We find some water for us out here, you know.
Well, there's a around. If you do a button hook around this hood, there's a cooler with sodas and waters. Yep.
How is it? John Asher, Church. Good to see you.
You're a legend. I know you.
I wouldn't go quite that far. This is legendary status here. So. Oh yeah. What kind of horse do we have here? Oh man. Waiting on Doug. He'll be here in just a minute, guys. So do you wish for me to introduce you as well? Yeah. What's that? Where? Right there? Right here? Hey, how are you? How you got it? I've got one. Right over here on the
Charlie,
side.
she needs your water.
I get it.
Put it right there.
Put it right down there.
Darren.
Yes, ma'am. You're right here.
Darren.
That's Dennis O'Neill.
Oh, it's Darren.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey.
Are you watching? Are you ready to go? Ready to go? Doug? Congratulations. All right, guys, are we all squeezed in? Everybody got water? We okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, the winning connections of Kentucky Derby 142. We're going to start in the middle with Mr. Paul Redham, his second Kentucky Derby winner. Of course, I'll have another, the last non-favorite to win the race. We've had 4 in a row wins since then. Trainer Doug O'Neill. As you know, his second Kentucky Derby win, Mario Gutierrez. And Dennis O'Neill. Come on. That's right. That's right. Keep them on the ground. That's okay. That's okay. All right, a fabulous performance by the unbeaten Nyquist, winning the Kentucky Derby. The first unbeaten Kentucky Derby winner since Smarty Jones in 2004, and we all know that there is one unbeaten Triple Crown winner, and that was Seattle Slew back in 1977. That's for down the road. We're talking about unbeaten Derby winners now. And let's start with Mr. Redham. And just here you are again. Had a marvelous run with I'll Have Another 4 years ago. This colt purchased him, named him beautifully after a hockey star that is, most times when you name horses after people, it doesn't work out too well. This one worked out well. You're unbeaten. Here you go, and he just looks like the sky's the limit beyond here.
When the Red Wings missed the playoffs, they started to worry about our horse.
Well, how does it feel for you? I mean, it's the most obvious question. Brilliant performance by this horse, and all he's done is do everything you want him to do and more. It's a special, special thing.
Well, I feel really good for the horse because along the way of the last year, he's taken a lot of shots for whatever reason, and I think he proved always pretty strong today. So I'm really proud of him and the whole O'Neill team and Mario's ride. It was just flawless from beginning to end.
What were your thoughts coming into the race? You got here very late with him. Didn't work over the racetrack, but he trained brilliantly wherever you'd been and looked great on the racetrack here. If you got the post draw, you were outside a little bit, but confident throughout the week that he would run this kind of race?
I was, because obviously you feed off your trainer, and Doug has trained for us for, I guess, 12 years now, and so we've kind of been able to read O'Neill language, and you could tell the horse was really doing everything absolutely perfectly, and to win this race, you have to have a lot of things go right, and they were all going right, so we felt quietly confident coming in.
Can you speak O'Neill language?
He can, actually.
Good to know. That makes a beautiful friendship. Doug, here you are. I mean, this coach, you emerged in California, but you've been all over the place with him now. 3 trips, 2 trips across the country, and just perfection. What else do you want to say?
It's unbelievable, and got to thank Paul and Zilla for this opportunity. And like Paul said, he knows the O'Neill language. I know the Elias language, his groom, and the Johnny Garcia language, his exercise rider. And those guys, they're the unsung heroes because they do all the work, and they're there long hours. And I could tell, just in the last week or so, Elias, he's very serious, about his trade and loves his horses so much, but he's been smiling more than I've ever seen him smile. So I didn't know what was going on, but now I think we all know. He was just, when you take those bandages off in the morning, his legs were ice cold and his feet were ice cold, and you look in the feed tub and there's no more feed in there, and he was really, really responding so well to Elias and the whole team, and yeah, it's a great feeling.
This race, you face so many things that your horse has never faced before, and you come in and get it done for a second time. Again, with this horse, and just talk about the journey. Were you really concerned at any point?
Oh, you're always concerned. When we did our Team Redham meeting after winning the Breeders' Cup race, we talked about giving them a little break and having 2 races as a prep for the Kentucky Derby, and we felt pretty confident about that. But I think we'd all be lying if we said, maybe if we got beat here today, we'd probably say, God, maybe we didn't do enough with them. But that maybe there's the only worry. But other than that, he's just a remarkable athlete that if you work him by himself, he'll even switch his tail a little bit. Like, what do you want? What do you want from me? And you put him in company, and he's just a Ferrari. So, but this guy right here, how does he handle that pressure? We were all so nervous. We were all saying, thank God we're not riding him. We would have fell off him before we got in the gate. But the way Mario, he's got ice in his veins, and he's the guy you want at the free throw line at the end of the game, and just got to thank Mario big time.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, true.
Over to you, Mario. How about that pressure? How about the trip on this guy today?
Well, the trip was amazing. We got a beautiful trip. From the start to the end. And the pressure is pressure. The horse is undefeated. Yeah, it's the Kentucky Derby. It's the only race that we have 19 other horses. Trying to get to the wire first. So, but like I say, I get the confidence from Nyquist. I was able to work him since he got to the track, so I know him a lot, and I trust him, and then I believe he trusts me as well.
This is clearly an easy game. I mean, you've been there twice with these guys, and you win both derbies really impressively. I mean, it's there any special approach you take, or is it just you and your confidence in the horse? That makes
No, it's very, very special, you know. Like I say, it does is a lot of nerves, but I do believe that I have matured as a rider, you know, and I'm doing things I wasn't doing 4 years ago. So like that makes me a lot of confidence, you know. Like I know that my surroundings always believe in me, and so you get extra confidence from that, you know. Mr. Redo, like Dog, you know, my wife, the whole team, you know, Johnny, the groom Leah. So I believe I got the right people behind me, so they always keep me grounded, and like that's where I get my strength and confidence.
Get your back.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
For another O'Neill perspective,
Yeah, it's
just talk about what it means here for the.
no, I said to someone, I felt like 4 years ago I bought a lotto ticket, and I said for someone to buy 2 lotto tickets in one lifetime, I don't think that's ever happened. So I mean, that's kind of how I feel about this. It's just an unbelievable day, and to have my mom here too is so
I was
special.
going to ask you guys.
Yeah.
What is mom's full name?
Dixie Lee. So
Great to have you.
yeah,
Congratulations.
she said about 6 months ago, I'm not missing any more of these. So she's been taking the road trucks with us. It's great to have her.
So does this mean after you bought 2 lottery tickets, you're not going to buy any more? Or you wanna keep going?
That's up to Mr. Redham.
Okay.
If he was smart, he'd cut me off. Wait till I get my car, though.
It was about time for a new car, so.
Well, I'm smart. I'm going to cut myself off, and we're going to take questions out here. So watch for the microphone. Hold up your hand. Those who'd like to ask a question. And let's start over here, Tyler.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, Paul, from our crude calculations, there have only been now 4 owners in the last 44 years who have won multiple Kentucky Derbies. How do you explain this?
Well, one of your colleagues told me I was the luckiest guy in horse racing 10 years ago, and I think that's how I'd explain it. I'm just very lucky to be with these guys and for Dennis to do his thing, and it's as simple as that, really.
And Doug, how many folks did you have here in Kentucky throughout these 5 weeks and this last week as far as the staff goes?
A lot. I mean, I wouldn't want to look at Paul and Zilla's checkbook because Paul and Zilla are so generous, and we had, I think, 8 to 10 horses and probably about 12 crew here. So we were definitely overstaffed, but Paul said, do whatever you have to do. We had Dave Kenny's good friend Marvin, who's unbelievable. He's a former policeman. He was security. He had a security around Nyquist 24 hours a day. So, yeah, we had a huge crew, big family, and thank you, Paul and Zilla, for writing all those checks.
If the horse had run second, we would have had a net loss.
Yeah.
At 40.
Doug, question for you. During the week leading up to the race, you were asked about people maybe not fully getting all in with Nyquist, and you were very kind of deferential about it. You said it really didn't bother you, but did it at any point in time?
Well, Paul and I would talk a lot about, you believe that idiot just wrote that article, but we respect all journalists, and it's I think, but you nailed it right. It's the beauty of sports, and you don't want to be, you don't want everyone picking the same team, or else it's not that much fun. So, I think people are just looking for value, and none of these 3-year-olds had gone a mile and a quarter. So, why bet a 2-to-1 shot when you could bet 10, 15, 20 to 1, on a horse who had never done it. So, but we were very confident in him.
Tom Padula.
Doug, could you talk about how Mario has matured and changed since that first Derby win?
Well, he's found a beautiful woman in Rebecca, and they're expecting a baby, so that's cool.
Yeah.
I think they should name him Derby, but that's up to them. If not Derby, Doug, maybe throw Doug in there somewhere. That'd be kind of cool. But no, I mean, you just see, I think all of us, you go back, and if you had like nerve meters on all of us in a lot of the big races, we might have maybe looked not too nervous, but we were all kind of a little nervous. And I think as we've gone along here, I just see Mario, he's so confident. He's got like a Mike Smith quality about him now. You do. You really do. With better hair. Yeah. But no, I mean Mike's got good hair. But no, I just think he's extremely confident and not cocky. You hear the way he talks. He doesn't expect anything. He wants to earn everything, and he puts a lot of effort into being prepared every race, and it shows off.
Right over here. By the way, you could also double up with a Derby dog.
There you go. I like that.
Works.
Yeah.
We've had a Derby, Dick Thompson Derby, it's a Derby daddy.
There we go.
Hey, Doug. Talk about how easy he makes things look, and is that just part of the professionalism that this horse has displayed?
Yeah, he's just a special horse. I mean, I think now it's safe to say Lava Man is unbelievable, and I'll Have Another is unbelievable, but he's definitely the best horse I've ever been around. And Johnny Garcia, who gets on him every day, he's been saying for a while now that this horse is so strong and does everything so easy, and you know, he's never tired. You know, we really haven't. Doesn't seem like we've ever really gotten to the bottom of him, and so that's very exciting about the future. And again, like every other athlete, you just got to stay injury free. A lot of ice, a lot of prayers, a lot of Elias, and good. That's all good.
For Doug and Paul and Mario, what's going through your mind in that stretch when Exaggerator made his late run?
Wire.
What's going through your mind when Exaggerator was? Did you know he was coming? No. Yeah.
Yeah, I did check around and like I don't really know what it was going.
Yeah.
Oh, when
You and I will talk later.
Like I say, if anybody watch Nyquist races, you would see that he will not allow any other horse pass him. You know, he's the kind of horse that always have something left for whatever comes him late. You know, so he was able to win by 5 lengths. He's been able to win by a nose. So that's how I get so much confidence from him, because you know, if anybody comes late, I know he will have something to respond to that.
Talk a bit about the California horses, because you almost won the Oaks too with your filly. You came very close to being the lowest Derby double winner. So, did you feel all along it was California was the strength of this 3-year-old crop?
Well, my brother's a big numbers guy, and on numbers we look pretty solid, right, Dennis?
Yes, we did. We looked really solid.
Yeah. So from the numbers, we look solid, and I just knew firsthand these horses were training great and they looked great. So from that end, I felt pretty confident.
Right here.
Doug, when Mario talks about slump and loss of confidence after 2012, where did you see that happening, and how did you start to, and when did you start to see it come back for him?
Well, I mean, I had my own slumps, so I didn't really notice Mario slumping. But you know, I think we started doing like weekly meetings about a year ago. It was one of those. Paul like very seldom yells at me, and he kind of went like Bobby Knight on me a little bit on the phone. So I hung up, and I was so bummed because I was like, God, I cannot screw up this relationship. Paul is the best ever. And I called Mark Verge, who's my my spiritual leader, and I said, Mark, what do I do? And he said, you get your lazy butt down to Paul's office, you look him in the eye, and you guys figure out a plan. And we've been doing that once a week with Tom Canoose, Mario's agent, and Mario and Dennis, and I think that's helped our luck because we were a lot more prepared, a lot more planned, and I think it helps all of our confidence as well.
This is for Doug and Paul. In light of what happened last year with Faro, I'm sure the questions are going to come off and to both of you guys, all you guys, in the next 2 weeks. Could this possibly happen again? How are you going to answer that?
Mom, can you light a candle at Sunday Mass? We need some higher power there to keep this guy injury-free. That's how I'll answer it.
One race at a time.
Yeah, one race at a time.
Question back.
This question's for Doug. How is it different going into the race as the favorite versus when I'll Have Another one?
I'm glad I'll Have Another wasn't the favorite, because in 2012, I don't know if I could have mentally took that. I think there's enough tequila in Mexico for me to handle that. 2012 is a favorite, but this year I think we're all just a lot more mature, and the horses that were the people that were surrounding Nyquist are a lot more mature. So it felt really good to be the favorite, and it felt, it was a real honor, and I got in part of me, I was like, God, I just want to represent Nyquist in the proper way, and I think the whole crew did a pretty good job, and so it felt good being a favorite this time.
Doug, can you talk about your training style and how it developed, what inspired you early on, and then also with Nyquist, have you followed similar patterns that you followed with All Have Another, or has it been different?
I think as I've gotten longer in the tooth, I've realized that a really good horse, you could train him like 100 different ways, and as long as you surround him with people that serve them right and take good care of them, it's hard to really screw him up. But with this guy, we've taken an approach of he gallops with a lot of energy, and then we give him one day of jock and kind of recover. In 2012, as probably a lot of you, if you got a chance to see, I'll have another gallop. He galloped like a train every day, and I thought that's the way to win classic races. That's what you had to do, and it did work for him. But his career was shortened. Whether or not it had anything to do with that, I don't know. But we are doing things differently with Nyquist, and it seems like things are staying colder and tighter longer.
Over on this side.
Yeah, this is a question for either Paul or Doug. On the track after the race, Keith DeSormo said that he might like to have a rematch with you guys in Baltimore. Is that something that you all would look forward to?
Yeah.
You'd like a rematch? Yeah, no, well, you answer this.
I would have thought he was sick of us by now. No, his horse obviously ran great, and he was the closest threat. And if I were him, I'd want a rematch too. And the horses are not machines, so it'll be a great race.
Right here.
Yeah.
Doug, it's another accomplishment of this horse is to win the juvenile and then follow up and win the Derby. It's a rare horse that's done that. What did you see in this horse when he from 2 to 3 and that time off that kind of maybe gave you some confidence that hey, this horse is going to keep moving forward?
God, I think after Dalmar, we ran him 19 days later in the front runner, and going 2 turns for the first time, and some bonehead didn't put the saddle on perfectly. Dennis? No, that was me. And and in that race where the saddle slipped a little bit, we didn't say much about it because I didn't want everyone to think I was a complete bonehead. But to have Mario basically not have a real secure saddle and him do that in the front runner, I thought, okay, we're on to something here. And thanks for not giving me any grief in the media on that too. Yeah, you're the man. You're a team player.
Now's your time if you want to.
Yeah, no, it's
all right.
Statute of limitation. You can't do it.
Anybody else? Right here.
Paul, what was your view of the Bobby Knight conversation that he referenced?
I actually don't remember that conversation.
That's when Bad Reed, come on. Bad Reed Sanchez got hurt, and it was one of those. Paul called me, and usually I call Paul, and I just got turned around and what happened. But it was about 11 o'clock, and he's like, "Hey, you haven't called, so I figured I'd call you. How's Bad Reed doing?" I was like, "Oh God, I meant to call you, Paul. He got hurt." And then the rest was like a lot of think beep 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 stuff. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you were probably. I'm sure he works his butt off, so it was probably the stock market was crashing. Who knows what was going on in your life? But I definitely took some grief, but I think it was the best grief I've ever taken.
Mr. Evans' story about the naming of this colt has been told often, but I did a radio interview this morning with the Detroit host. Never heard him so over the moon about a Derby horse, so there was much excitement up there in Windsor. Just again about naming this colt and what that's meant to you and the people you know.
Well, the horse is named after Gustav Nyquist, who plays for the Red Wings, and I've been a lifelong Red Wing fan, and am partners in a couple of horses with Eric Johnson, who's at the back there, plays for the Colorado Avalanche. Yeah. And I was telling Eric last year, geez, when you're a free agent, you should sign with the Wings. And he said, I'll never sign with them. Are you kidding? And so just to get at him, I named a couple horses after Red Wings, and Nyquist was one of them. And then he was, can I buy a piece of Nyquist? I'm like, no, but. So in the Detroit area, it's become quite a story. And I guess I think it was last night, I heard before the Tigers game, they were showing clips of the horse Nyquist, and the guys from the broadcast are all going to come to the Preakness, apparently. That's cool.
Anybody else? They have a party to go to here shortly.
Real quick, for Doug and Dennis, and actually all of you guys, this is now, I believe, 3 straight for Southern California horses. Can you talk a little bit about what it means and kind of the state of the circuit?
Dennis, that's you.
Doug's talked about this a lot. I think the weather plays a huge part of that because we're able to train, and we train our horses hard, and I think with the weather out here, you can't do that. We've talked about a lot of these horses probably get 80% of their training, where we're able to train 100% of the time, and I think that's a real advantage out there. When we come across the country, our horses are very fit.
A couple more. Anybody
I thought we had better bloodstock agents, but I guess not.
Definitely not
I like
that.
that too.
I was just wondering what your plan is in the morning for him.
That was my next question, so good. What's the plan in the morning for you guys? Coming to the
For
barn?
us?
Yes.
Probably a lot of water and aspirin. For me. I think the plan is to walk the shed row with him, and we tentatively we try not to make too many plans after a race, just because anything can happen. But I think he's off to Baltimore on Monday, if all goes well.
What about you guys in the morning? For your
My wife's really cool about me not being home, so you're cool if I go to Baltimore, right? Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, thank you.
Tomorrow morning we're everybody.
We're gonna be here. I'm sorry.
Tomorrow
We'll be in barn 41, celebrating and group hugging all morning. Yep.
We do train early.
Oh God, tomorrow might be a little later. Probably 6:30. Probably 6:30. Yeah. We were there at like 4 o'clock this morning, so it's been a long day, good day.
Sleep in a little bit.
Yep.
Right back here.
I just have a follow-up question to the weather idea. I mean, it's been warm in California and cold on the East Coast forever. Why?
Yeah, Dennis.
They're not buying that? It just seems like when we do, I know even Bob ships across the country a lot, and he sure is successful. What has he won, the Arkansas Derby?
Well, I think too, you're blessed in California. You don't have to move around a lot.
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of people on the East Coast, they go down to Florida for the summer, and so it takes time to have horses adjust to the new tracks. We're at Santa Anita most of the year, so you're able to train consistently and not worry about having a horse have to adjust to a new track. So that's definitely an edge, as well as Mother Nature being really kind in California.
Doug, what time would you be talking to the media tomorrow? What time would you be?
Like 7 would be awesome. Yeah, no lights, real dark, and real quiet, real quiet on the question. No.
Any others? We have no other questions. One more, and that'll be it. So then we'll
Mario, you mentioned a little while ago that you're doing some things now that you weren't doing 4 years ago. What are you doing now that you weren't doing then?
Well, my wife encouraged me to get a sports psychologist. At the beginning, I was a little bit embarrassed to tell people I was talking to a sports psychologist, but now I'm very proud. Like, it helps me. I got a stretch and conditioning coach, better nutritionist, and actually I have like a person that comes to my house twice a week to stretch my body, and I'm feeling great right now.
Great. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mario Gutierrez, Doug O'Neill, Dennis O'Neill, and Paul Redham, the winning connection for the second time of the Kentucky Derby winner with the favorite Nyquist.
Man.
Have fun at the party, guys. Thank all of you so much.
I don't lie either, do I?